The building that used to house the Bromley Brook School has been closed since 2011, but a pair of new prospective owners are hoping to reopen it. They plan to return the building to its original use as a senior citizen residential community. Bromley Manor, as the operation would be known, would be a Level 3 facility, which means it would offer nursing and staffing and overview, but not full-time care. Mary Norman and Phil Dunn, the prospective new owners, hope to close on the sale of the building and the nearly 9 acres of land it occupies in early May. Mary Norman described what intrigued her about the building.
Well, actually, I am part owner and operator of a senior living community outside of Barrie, Vermont. It's 55 units of senior housing. And I've been there for 17 years as the director. And my son works down here in Stratton. And he was telling me for months about this property that I had to see that was just perfect as a senior living facility. But finally I decided to take a drive down and look at the facility or the property. And I immediately became enamored with it. I mean, it is a gorgeous, well-designed, over-designed building. So after my first visit, I became more and more intrigued. Obviously, it was designed for a senior living community in the very beginning. It had all the amenities that one would want to have for seniors. With each visit, I became more enthralled with turning it back into this gracious facility that had gone neglected for a number of years.
Norman said she hoped to reopen 3 of the 5 wings of the structure within 45 days of the closing. It was originally constructed in the mid to late 1990s as a senior living center and was then known as the Oak Knoll Assisted Living. She hopes to open up about 30 apartments for use. The other 2 wings, with about 20 additional rooms, would come online a little later this year, possibly by November. All told, she anticipates having about 58 residents when the operation is fully up and running. Norman and Dunn received a permit for the building and its proposed use in early February, but that became the subject of an appeal filed by Kate Heaton, a Manchester resident who argued through an attorney, David Cooper, that there was a lack of clarity over exactly what was being applied for and that more than an administrative review should have occurred. Cooper also stated that a residential care facility was not among the permitted or conditional uses allowed in the farming and rural residential zone where the Bromley Brook building sits.
We're appealing because the administrative permit that was issued for a residential care facility. And when I go to the farming and rural residential district, I don't see residential care facility listed as a permissible or conditional use. If I want to put a commercial store somewhere in Manchester, I have to locate it in a zoning district that says commercial uses are either permitted, in which case I just go and get a permit, or a conditional use. What they applied for and what the permit was granted for is nowhere in the regulations.
Okay. Sorry.
Yes. The purposes for a conditional use permit is to impose conditions on certain types of uses in a particular zone. How do they impact traffic? How do they impact the community facilities that you have? How do they affect the area in which the proposed facility is going? So this project has undergone conditional use review. It has conditions were imposed. It has undergone major development review, which is a greater scrutiny. And now we're coming to you with a different use, and your zoning bylaw very clearly states the administrative officer may render an administrative decision on changes of use in existing buildings where no new impacts as compared with existing uses may reasonably be anticipated.
After holding 2 hearings on the question of whether or not the proposed new senior facility was an acceptable use, the DRB decided on March 31st that it was, and Janet Hurley, the Planning and Zoning Director, was correct in issuing an administrative permit which was granted without a full board hearing. When it's fully up and running, she anticipates having 15 to 20 employees on hand to staff the new Bromley Manor. For the GNet TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.